Fellas, welcome. Welcome. We got a couple of nice faces here. Andrew, welcome back. Brian, welcome back. Nice tan. Tan is looking great on you.
We've got some sun.
Yeah. So let's start with you guys a little bit because this is very casual. After hours, truly after hours. It's 3 p.m. Vancouver time. You were in Morocco. You were in Egypt. We'll start with Brian. How was travel?
Oh, yeah. I had a great 2 weeks. No matter what you do in your life, you've got to take a break, and this was a nice break for me. 2 weeks off and seeing a place that I had always wanted to travel to and see, because just some of the amazing things that the Egyptians built, thousands of years ago, and you look at the stuff and you think, how the heck did they build that with no cranes and other equipment that we use today in construction. So it was amazing, and really enjoyed the trip and relaxing. Nice to get away from trading, but at the end of the trip I was starting to look forward to come back and get behind the desk again and do some trading. So yeah, great trip, but good to be back.
Yeah, that's awesome. We got a couple of really cool pictures. You met a member. We talked about it with Tor last week, how amazing it was.
That was unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was up in Alexandria, which is at the very north point of Egypt, which is right on the Mediterranean. 5 million people in that city. And we were at the end of our day in the bar having a drink. I was walking out, and a BBT member was walking in, and I kind of saw him look at me from the side, and then he said, "Hey, Brian," and I'm like, "What?" And he says, "Yeah, I'm from the BBT."
That is crazy.
Mike. It was just like how what a coincidence, and just if I'd have walked out 10 seconds later, we never would have met. So it was just amazing. And so of course turned around, went back into the bar. We had a drink. He was with his wife. I had some great conversation, and it was just
was he from
amazing.
Egypt, or he was a visitor?
No, he was from Mike hopefully don't get this wrong, but if he is from Texas, and he was just him and his wife were traveling. He was telling me how he went that day. He had gone. His wife was. I won't mention her age, but she had a bit of a milestone age, and she wanted to go up on a balloon ride with him. And he said he just hated. He really had a fear of heights. So so he was saying how much he maybe didn't enjoy the balloon trip, but he did it anyway because it was something his wife wanted to really do.
Yeah.
But so we had a great conversation, and it was just like it just blows your mind.
That's awesome. Yeah.
To see members all around.
Yeah, and it's great, seeing members all over the world and just having that chance meeting. It was awesome.
Really, really cool. Really cool. Yeah. Marriage is all about compromise.
Yeah.
Right? Speaking of compromise, Andrew, you missed a couple of weeks of trading, but you were doing an ultra marathon in Morocco in middle of nowhere. We got some pictures. We'll probably put more pictures somewhere in the video, but tell us how that experience was.
So I did Marathon des Sables, which is it's a very famous running race in Sahara Desert in southern Morocco.
Right.
And it's 250 kilometers, which is like almost 200 miles during the 6th day. The whole trip is about 9 days, but the running time is actually 6 days. And the tricky part is that you have to carry everything, all the essentials that you need, including your food. And the only thing that they provide is a limited quantity of water. Per day, you get a certain amount of water by the organization. But you have to carry all of your dried food and even the things to boil the water and make the food and everything. And tents, they provide this Arabian Sahara tent. It's not like
cool.
a mountaineering tent. It's kind of open, the dust coming and everything. But it's amazing because it's beautiful. Sahara Desert is my favorite landscape. It's just beautiful. You see all these animals and creatures that they're trying to survive where living is almost impossible, and just beautiful sand dunes and everything. And I did it, and I was hoping to finish it, and I did. I think it was 1,100 people, all great runners, and it was 700 finished. From the 1,100 people was dropping during the day, and I actually closed like 213 in the rank which was I think was pretty good.
Great.
Out of
Yeah.
215 or
Out
no?
of no, 1100. 1100 were the
Oh, wow,
people
that's
signed
really
up.
good.
700 finished.
Wow.
So
Wow.
from the
So
700.
you were in like the top
20,
20th
30%.
percentile.
Yeah.
That's
Wow, very
amazing.
good.
The top 100 people is just elite runners
Yeah,
like from
they're elite,
Morocco, like running like
Wow.
crazy. And it was amazing. Yeah, it was amazing. And it was a very, very beautiful experience, especially that you have access to nothing. And it was all mindfulness during that. I even didn't listen to music because you ran out of battery really soon because you couldn't carry any
Yeah.
electricity or anything. And I was constantly just it's just a big meditation for me.
That's great.
And
Wow.
I had really good teammates too. Not teammates, but tent mates.
Running mates, yeah.
Yeah, running mates. One of them, she was from Vancouver. She was Korean, and then the other one was a guy in Montreal, a machinist. They were really good friend, and it was really, really fun.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
That's awesome. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And we have like a surprise guest today. We'll get back to your run, but Mike, welcome back to Vancouver, man.
Yes,
That's
I
amazing.
love it up here.
Yeah.
You know, I was
Somebody came back.
These two have been in the desert. I myself, my daughter's a soccer player. I've been
Yeah.
traveling to and from Arizona and to and from Vegas. So I figured I'd get some rainy weather and came up here.
Hey,
And it
welcome.
turned out
I
to
need
be,
to get
and it turned out to be sunny.
hydrated again. And of
But it
course
turned out-
it's sunny
Yeah.
today.
We got
Brought
tons
the
of rain
sun.
for you, don't you
Yeah, we
worry.
got rain coming, so don't worry.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I was getting ready, came, putting the suit on and everything, getting ready for the thing, and I saw you. I'm like, Mike, welcome. Yeah, it's great to have you. It's going to be a great, amazing show. Andrew, the run inspired a lot of people. It was a tough run. I mean, we could really do a segment on it, and you could maybe link it back to psychology. That could be a good episode. But Ed, actually, I don't know if you were online then, but he started messaging us in the group chat that we have, and he's like, "Oh, I'm getting so inspired. I won't be in the chat room on Friday because I'm preparing for my first, was it a half marathon
I think so, yeah.
or a 10K? I don't
Yeah,
know what it
nice,
was,
yeah.
but he did it and he finished it. And
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm so glad. I mean, running is amazing, and these amateur races are amazing because they prepare everything for you. There's rest station. They give you food and snack in the middle of the way, and everyone is so supportive. Everyone is so supportive. Even for us, after we finished, the organization asked us, everyone comes out of the tent for the last day. Just wait for the last people that are coming. And the older people, or the one that have the really bad blisters and stuff, everyone is
Clapping,
shouting,
yeah.
clapping, that encouraging to come. So it's a great thing to join these runs.
Yeah.
It's not a competitive environment. Well, the elite runners who are running
Yeah.
for a paycheck, they're the first and they finish earlier than everyone. But everyone else is really competitive. And now it's amazing, just getting active to go. I love traveling for these races because you get to see the culture, people, food. You don't go to tourist traps. Plus, you make a lot of amazing friends, and I highly encourage everyone to go in there. And obviously, if you are a full-time trader like me, then you get, you have this access to travel around the world. And in this particular case, I traded a few times, but mostly.
yeah, it
missed
was
Yeah,
pretty awesome.
But kudos to Ed for taking that
Great
on.
job, buddy.
Yeah.
Great job.
Yeah.
I love to run with him one day. I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do go for a run together, and we start together, we finish together, and then after that we go for a beer.
Yeah, and some Cubans.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
Cubans.
Ed
Yeah,
lo-
Ed loves
loves
Cubans
the
too. Yeah, we
cigars,
have it's our vice.
Yeah.
I love Cuban cigars
Yeah,
too.
so that would be awesome. We want to get into market. Lots of stuff happened, but before I get into, I kind of want to wrap that up. Andrew, anything crazy happen in the desert or like any crazy story that you want to
Well,
share?
I ran out of the food in the last last 2 days, which I had the breakfast in the last 2 days, and I almost ran out of the food the night of the 2 days, and
Yeah.
it was a long day, and for what I had, I get into the checkpoint. I was really hungry,
Yeah.
and I was out of food and snack, and they don't give you anything. And I saw that in the tent, there's a tent for resting, and and I saw somebody drop some nuts, and I started collecting these nuts from the ground. And I swear, if there was an animal or something, I would have killed it. But this is mine, and that was
Wow.
really funny. Until the next morning, a couple of friends, they had some extra snacks, they gave it to me. But
Wow.
no, it was like end of the world. You gotta. Everyone was taking care of themselves.
Yeah.
You have snacks? No. Can I use your battery charger? No.
No, yeah, exactly. That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah, but that was fun.
Yeah, amazing. We should really think about doing an episode a full-on episode on this thing.
Well, I have a lot of videos. I'm
Yeah.
gonna send it to Santiago so he can edit it, and then we post it in YouTube and definitely my social
Yeah.
media. But if you are following in our social media, especially Instagram, is more like a personal thing. So Andrew Aziz Bearable Traders, and Twitter is more professional, more trading related. But I try to post as much as possible.
Yeah.
And only these two social media. I'm not in Facebook active
Okay,
anymore.
awesome. So let's go to markets. A lot of recession talks. We've been talking about recession for a while and yield curves and all that stuff, but Deutsche Bank is officially the first bank forecasting a U.S. recession. And I found this really funny meme that I want to start. It says, "My drug dealer has switched from vacuum sealed bags to regular plastic. This feels like a recession indicator." So, a lot of recession talks. Ryan, I'll start with you. What do you think?
You know, it's interesting. I guess if it feels like it could happen, I think there's a lot of room for debate on this. Really, I think you know, the U.S. economy is still really strong. Unemployment rate just came out; it was like 3.6%. You know, so on one hand, you can say the economy is still pretty strong. There's still lots of money floating around, but you know, there's also inflation, and there's lots of talk about how the Fed's going to get aggressive and fight it.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, it's going to be all about the Fed. You know, and all the commentators like to say this: threading the needle. You know,
Yeah.
just finding that, you know, that point where they slow the economy down so demand drops a little bit without pushing the economy into a recession. So, yeah, I'm on the fence on this. I don't know if we're going to see a recession or not. But so.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Mike, what do you think? And you live in U.S., so how's
So,
the environment there?
I live in the U.S. and like the plastic bag indicator there. I would say the gas pump is a great indicator. I was yesterday filling up. I couldn't even fill my truck up because they shut the pump off, so I can fill up three-quarters of my truck because it shut it off at $100. And right next to me was a Honda Civic or a Honda Accord. It was one of the two. They paid $94 to put in 16 gallons into their tank. So
Wow.
When we start looking at cars like that, spending that kind of money, that's not something that's budgeted in, which means consumers are going to have to decide where they're going to shift their money. And I mean, me and my wife, I use myself as a perfect example. We used to go out to eat at least 3-4 times a week just because it was great to get out, go out, hang out together. We're down to maybe once or twice now a week, if that, and most of that is due to travel.
Yeah.
So we just don't want to spend the money because I go in and you just look at something that 3 months ago you paid $20 for, now you're paying $30 for, and it just kind of gets at you. It's like the value isn't there.
Yeah.
So you start to shift where you spend your money.
Yeah, it's like we've talked about this before in some of our other video sessions, is the cure to high demand is higher prices, and as Mike said, you know, we're seeing higher prices in food, in fuel. So people, especially if you're on a bit of a budget, people have to make choices. You know, if they need their gas to go to work and take the kids to soccer,
Yeah.
and obviously you need food, and so what are you going to do? You're going to just cut back on things like that you don't need, like going out to restaurants. Good example of that. So.
Yeah.
So I mean, some of these high prices may take the demand out without, you know, the the Fed's having to get too aggressive. So again, to me it still feels like I'm not sure
Yeah.
if we're going to get into a recession, and how deep the recession is going to be if it even get there.
If we even get
What's
there,
your take, Ardi?
I'm same camp as Brian. I think the economy is really strong. So unemployment at 3.6, which is really good. But then at the same time, participation rate is still not at 65%. So a lot of people are not working. So that kind of is artificially a little too low.
So what is that 65%?
So participation rate is basically the aging work population divided by, I think, the people who want to work. So if people drop out of working force, then the participation drops, so does the unemployment. But if the participation go back up, unemployment might become a little larger. So it could be a little misleading. You got to look at the both.
Yeah. A lot of people dropped out of the workforce during COVID.
Yeah.
And, as you said, they haven't really, some of them haven't come back. They've chosen,
Yeah.
I just would rather stay at home or whatever and not go back to work. So that's sort of that's the essence of the participation rate. So if more people decide they want to get back into the workforce and start looking for work, and they're out of work, then they become unemployed. So.
But I mean, if you look at the market, and we're going to get into it, we'll go to our trading terminal. Sector base, it seems like market is pricing in a recession. Healthcare is the strongest, utility is the strongest, the staple is the strongest. So it seems like market is saying, like healthcare, you saw it this week, had a huge breakout this week.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's going to be interesting. Yeah, hard to say. Inflation seems to be coming down, at least in some areas. This is for used cars. We know that was a huge contributor to the inflation. So had a 4% drawdown in March. So hopefully maybe inflation will come down. Who knows?
One of the things about the cars was that after the pandemic happened, airlines got bailed by the government, but the car companies didn't, the rental companies.
Yeah.
Therefore, they had to liquidate a lot of their fleet to survive.
Yeah.
And after the pandemic was over, they had to rebuy those cars. That's why they're pushing the used car prices higher, plus the chip shortage in the car industry. That's what the Jay Powell, the chairman of the Fed, was always saying, that some of them are transitory.
Yeah.
That's, I think, one of the things that eventually, and it was contributing a lot to the consumer price index. So hopefully this one brings it down. But the problem is in Europe, inflation is extremely hot. In Germany and UK, the numbers came in last week, and that's really hot. I don't know if you have it here or not.
Yeah, no, I don't have it here, but I think,
But over there, it is war,
yeah.
so it's a little bit of a different situation.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. Let's go to our trading terminal, see what's going on overall in the market sectors. So as I said, if you look at, I mean, today we started red, kind of indecisive. I would say we rallied back. See how we finished the week. But then on the week, again, utilities 3%, real estate, staples, healthcare. So these are the only green sectors, which kind of tells me.
And they're all
defensive.
essentially what they call safety trades, which are defensive trades. And what's at the bottom there, Artie?
Industrial. Oh, they got
Yeah.
the shipping.
Consumer discretionary.
Yeah.
Again, consumer discretionary. That's where people cut back when they don't have the money to spend.
Yeah. Utilities are always strong because people, no matter what the economy is, they pay their bills for hydro bills or electricity bills.
Yeah. Same thing.
And they typically pay a dividend too. Utilities typically pay a dividend, so people go when they're not expecting to get capital gains, they'll go to stocks, rotate into stocks that generate some income regardless.
Yeah. Same thing with healthcare, right? You get sick regardless of the situation. You gotta go help yourself.
Yeah.
This is, and then next week I think is a really important week. If you go to our calendar, so we'll start our banks finally, and I think this would tell a lot of information of how healthy the economy is, how many new loans are being generated by JP Morgan, how much asset under management is going to be by BlackRock. So is the economy still strong, or we're seeing real signs of slowdown? Citi, Goldman, Morgan Stanley. Earnings starting, and I'm excited.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. It feels like we just ended the season, and now we're back at the banks again, which is always the start of the next earnings season.
Yeah.
And to that point as well, it'll be interesting to hear, not to see the numbers that they put up, but also even more important, what the CEOs and CFOs,
the guidance,
what their kind of guidance they get,
Yeah.
because that's really where people listen and try to gauge what they're seeing coming down the pipe for the next couple months to a year.
Yeah, it'll definitely be really interesting. I want to show you the healthcare. The healthcare was really the most interesting one to me, because I've never seen a sector kind of break out like this. Like Walmart at all-time high, Costco at all-time high.
Target.
We did see this today in the chat room that Costco was making all-time high. Is it really a recession that Costco is making all-time high and doing better than ever?
It's a staple, right? So it would make sense, right? It's Costco, Walmart. You got to buy groceries. It's
in
not,
bulk.
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah.
Costco gas is the cheapest gas out there in
There
the
you
US
go.
right now.
Yeah.
There's lines to
Yeah.
get into Costco gas.
We always say there's always a bull market.
Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah.
You just gotta find it. Yeah.
How's Bitcoin doing? Bitcoin is consolidating at 43,000.
43,000.
Yeah, you had a
around
nice
there.
little pop there. It was up around, when I was away, I was looking at it, 46,000. I thought it kind of got up to, and then
Yeah.
it's pulled back over the last week.
Yeah.
It's been a very long consolidation
Yeah.
on Bitcoin, and the bull market definitely is over on Bitcoin. And
Yeah.
But that's typical. I guess that's what has happened with Bitcoin in the past. But it's had this big surge and it pulls back, and then you have this really long period of consolidation. So again, it'll be interesting to see if at some point we get another leg higher, who knows with Bitcoin. It's fairly new when you look at it from the perspective of the financial markets.
Yeah. We have, for the longest time they used to say Bitcoin is a great hedge for market. We know that's not true. And this year, Mike, I think you were talking about it too. This year is crazy. Energy is the best hedge.
Yeah.
You buy XLE, every day SPY goes down, XLE goes up. That was very interesting too. Yeah. Let's go to news and see what's going on in the world of Twitter. We always follow, and of course, who better than Elon Musk? So
is that really he posted
yeah, he
that?
really posted that. It's his real.
On Joe Rogan,
Yeah, but he
Yeah.
actually did post
Oh,
that.
yeah.
It has almost 1 million likes.
Yeah. So he took over Twitter 10%. So to put it in perspective, Jack Dorsey only has 2.5%. So now he's at 10%, the largest shareholder. And he posted this, and this one was hilarious. Sells Zip2 to Compaq for $305 million. Domino effect. Twitter finally gets an edit button.
So he actually sells Zip2.
That was his first company, right? That he sold.
Yeah.
Which I think this was. I don't know who Compaq was, and then I think it turned into PayPal. I think afterwards.
Yeah.
I think so. But anyway, yeah.
So about the edit button, one of the good things is that people can't change their word on Twitter. When you said something, it's there, unless you delete which people usually take as screenshots. But if you change it, there is a purpose to not having a edit button.
Yeah, I agree.
And even if you make a typo mistake, is it like Kaffweffe that President Trump mentioned that was really funny. But I don't know if I really want an edit button on my tweets.
Yeah, like imagine like if 2 years ago we were saying, hey, deflation, no inflation, and now inflation at 10%, you go back and change that tweet.
Yeah.
What would the purpose be?
Yeah. Unless you
Put a time limit on it.
Yeah.
30 minutes.
Unless you mistype something.
30
30
I like
minutes,
that.
hour.
But even typos are part of the things.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's just, is it a really big deal for Twitter? And what was Jack Dorsey's opinion not having a edit button? Why they fight it back so much?
I don't know. Yeah, Mike, what do you think? What's your thought?
I don't know why he's fought back so much on it.
Yeah,
But I do like what you mentioned, right? Like whatever you put out there,
it's out there.
it's
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah, you
People
can.
screenshot it, you can delete it, but somebody's got the
Yeah.
screenshot.
Yeah.
So I think it causes you to think twice, maybe, about what you post.
Yeah.
Or at least it should. Maybe it doesn't necessarily always happen that
Which,
way. But
it kind of raised the question of, did he really buy Twitter because of the edit button? Or some people are saying he actually want to go toe to toe with Jeff Bezos. And he has Washington Post. And Washington Post actually did an article saying Elon Musk's Twitter investment could be a bad news for free speech. And then he replied, and he's like, Washington Post always good for a laugh. And Jeff Bezos owns Washington Post, right?
Oh.
So that could be another dynamic of maybe he want to get into media. I don't know exactly how that would play out, but
He might want to run for public office. That's another thing that you want to do that, which probably I'm not sure if he wants to do that or not. But anyways, that's interesting. that you said.
Yeah.
What do you think, Ardi, on this?
I'm
How much money, Ardi, he spent of his net worth to buy 10% of Twitter?
I think it was like 1-2% of net worth.
So he spends 2%. I think it could be even fun. He says, I'm having so much fun in Twitter.
Yeah.
Let's pay 2% and then let's own 10% of this company that I'm using.
Yeah. I mean, the business model wise, I don't know, Brian, what do you think? I think Twitter has a lot of potential, from the Spaces, which took over Clubhouse, from now the subscription based that could theoretically take over OnlyFans. I think this business has a lot of potential with good management. But
And you know, it's not easy to take it out. Like when all of these social media systems came in, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter stayed strong. You know, no, nothing could take. Facebook is kind of coming down, but Twitter still is.
Because it's just the way of the medium that it's putting out is written, and it's your thought process. Like, you know, you're making funny videos, one day is Instagram, one day is TikTok, but this could stay forever. I don't know.
There's something unique about Twitter, that's for sure.
I'm getting too old to talk about social media, so I don't think I'm an expert anymore. But this graphic was really interesting too. It analyzed all his tweets over the last 14 years or something, like how much he talked about Tesla, how much about other stuff. So this was kind of interesting as well. And then this was a hilarious meme as well. Elon Musk, after 24 hours of being on Twitter, bored. He just aged so much.
I don't know what to make of that. I mean, how does it fit with an electric car company? I guess that people talk about Tesla being more than that, but I mean, how does it fit in the realm of scheme of things?
Possibly I don't know, crypto too, because Elon is a big crypto advocate, so maybe he wants to be leading in the crypto adoption for Twitter payments or anything.
NFTs,
I mean, who knows what he's thinking? He's super innovative. You know, he's kind of thinking outside of the box all the time. So he could have some ideas, you know, brewing up there that we can't even speculate about, because, you know, he's seeing something else, so who knows?
A few weeks ago, he posted a tweet that the freedom of speech is very important to diplomacy or something, to a democracy or something like that. And then under that, a person replied, "Elon, just buy the Twitter and, you know, fix it." And then he replied under that reply that, "I'm seriously considering it." I wouldn't be surprised Elon Musk, the person who he is after that tweet, pick up the phone to the fund manager, "Hey, buy 10%. I mean, that kind of decision making, you know.
Could be.
It's
Impulsive buy.
Impulsive buying. I have a lot of money, 2%. He might not really have any plan for it, but it's fun to see how it goes.
It's definitely.
Well, he certainly provided a lot of entertainment over the years. I mean,
and good trading opportunity.
Great.
The pop that happened to Twitter continued. You know, it started from 47 up to 54, and then today was big sell-off. So there's so many trading opportunities for us. That's exactly what happened to Warren Buffett for us with HP. He take a position on HP, and then the huge volatility that it came and HP up, and we benefited from that. I had a really good day on HP.
It was great trading it. Some analyst in JP Morgan who follows Musk companies, I think he said he's going to be the first world trillionaire. So the first trillionaire, so
he's in 250 billion
he's like
now,
one fourth of a way there. So
it's a long way to go there, though.
It's
a long way. It's a long way to trillion.
You don't know the power of compounding. And then this one was funny too. The post that he did on the poll, he purposefully misspelled "no" to prove a point that we need the edit button.
Even yes is misspelled.
I didn't get the yes. Even yes is misspelled. Good catch.
It's funny how your mind corrects the letters.
You see it all the time.
When you know what it's supposed to be.
I think this was funny too. So this week was Bitcoin conference in Miami. We know the mayor of Miami, I forgot his name. He's like a really pro Bitcoin. Lots of people were there. I think Peter Thiel was there. Lots of visionary people and frontiers in Bitcoin. What do you think of this? Is big news, big deal, no big deal?
I mean, there's always a conference in Miami every year, Bitcoin 2020, 2021, 2022.
And the Microsoft or Micro Strategies guy is always going to talk his book anyway, right? So, I mean, what do you expect when you get a bunch of crypto fans all get together and, get in a big echo chamber and
Yeah.
pat each other on the back, say it's going higher. So again, it's just a conference.
Yeah, I like the fact that they got their own charging bull.
They got their own bull.
Wall
Yeah.
Street got its own
Their
bull.
bull.
So it's like we're coming for the financial system, and it's interesting. Yeah. All right, let's move on. Fed's minute. The Fed's minute came out. They're saying they're gonna basically the QT is gonna be as fast or even faster than 2017 to 2019. We know market had a huge sell-off in 2018, so that could be kind of scary. Brian, I'll start with you. What did you read the Fed's minute? What do you think of it?
I didn't. I just got some headline stuff on it. It seemed like the Fed was pretty dovish,
Yeah.
or pretty hawkish, I should say.
Yeah.
Some of them some of them thinking they're way behind the curve. Of course, it's easy to look back now and say that, but and some of them wanting 3/4 of a point hikes, and so I think that the Fed is looking like they're aggressively going to start to try to take the wind out of some of the demand that we've been already talking about in the market and try to cool things down a little bit. But again, it's like I said, everybody's just watching to see if they thread that needle that we talked about.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. And what do you think? Can they land softly, or
Can what, sorry?
can
Yeah,
they
get a soft landing.
soft
Get a
landing?
soft landing.
Yeah,
As
I
they
think
talk.
it's too early to write the history, but
Yeah.
I think U.S. economy has always figured out a way to come out of any recession and problem. I'm on a lot, depend on the horizon, but I think next year this time we're gonna laugh at all of the fears that we had. That's exactly like pandemic when it happened. In March, I was in Arizona trading, and someone mentioned, in 4 months we're gonna laugh at it, and we did. Market bounced back, and
Yeah.
the U.S. economy has shown it's very resilient and
Yeah.
comes out of any recession. Like China is not like that. China never had a very serious recession, so they don't know that's such a closed system. If they get into a serious recession, they can actually come out of it,
Yeah.
and that's one of the challenges that with this such a centralized economy is that. But I'm sure U.S. economy can handle any recession, which I doubt is going to be a disastrous thing ahead of us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mike?
and I don't think it's going to be disastrous,
Yeah.
but I guess I'm the one that's on the line of just living down there in
Yeah.
the U.S. You just see it.
Yeah.
I mean, all the telltale signs are there. Everything from the one previous in 2008, all those things are kind of rising their head again. Do I think it's going to be as bad as 2008? No,
Yeah.
because you do have strong economy that's going on. But I mean, the demand, they have to tackle it.
Yeah.
And if they don't do it, they're going to end up behind the curve.
Yeah.
And then that can even go further. So I'm actually excited, I guess you can say, that they really want to go at it and want to taper off quicker than they did in 2007, 2018.
That's all.
Get it over with quick. Just do it.
Rip the
Pull
bandage
it,
off.
rip it off, get it done, and let's get back to
So I think
normal.
one good news is that Andrew's bullish, so that means there's no round of layoff coming in.
That is good.
So no,
I
here's
get
the
to
interesting
get my
situation.
job.
You probably remember the time that inflation and interest rates were high.
Oh yeah.
That was the boom of after World War II. And I grew up in a
Right.
country when the inflation was at 7-8% and the economy was booming. So 7-8%, it seems like a big number, but there's a lot of growing countries and booming economies that are dealing with that type of 5 to 10% inflation.
Yeah.
But as long as the wages are going up and the economy is expanding, it doesn't necessarily is disastrous. If it's 50%, yes, it's really bad. But 5 to 10% inflation, specifically that some of the big numbers are coming from used cars or certain things, it's not really things. But it's the mentality of the people also too. We are used to stable prices. Like gas, you mentioned, for example, there is a war going on with the biggest oil suppliers. So that's why there is a pressure on the gas systems. But you can't really justify that to everything. That's just because gas prices going up, everything is going to go up like that.
I just add something to that. First off, I'd like to clarify I wasn't alive after.
That's what
I was alive after the Second World War. It was quite a bit later than that. But
I can't catch a break.
Most people are saying 70s.
Yeah, but they're talking, well, in the recession we might, we'll end up seeing 5% unemployment. I mean, But that's still incredibly low.
Yeah.
And to Andrew's point again, it's the U.S. You know, we fret about things, we worry about things, but eventually things work out, and you know, and then we get back into an expansion mode. The U.S. economy never fails to disappoint. Let's just say in the
Yeah.
long run.
Yeah, exactly. Woohoo. Well, that's, I think, a great place to end the show. It was an awesome show. I had a lot of fun. Thank you guys
Yeah.
for coming.
Thank
for
you.
sure. Thanks
Thank
you,
for
everybody.
thanks for coming, and great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, such a short notice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
Great.
Mike was here. Just yeah.
We gotta convince to get John on the show.
He seems like a very shy person, but he's actually not that shy.
He's funny. He's
He just
funny.
doesn't like to travel.
John's,
Yeah, he does not.
John's
Especially
one.
that he has to take a couple of flights to come out of where he lives. And
Yeah.
when he came to Austin, you know, it was a long day for him to go back. I know, yeah. It's awesome.
Andrew, just before I go, what's the meetup situation? Are we doing another meetup?
We
'Cause
should
Brian
start.
was asking.
In Vancouver?
No, maybe, I don't know, somewhere in the US or
Yeah, I mean, we
Florida,
can
yeah.
definitely. I mean, I had 2 big trips in Argentina and Morocco back to back. Kind of messed up my schedule, but I don't have any big trip. I was going to go to Everest in April, but I'm not going to because I can't afford another 4-6 weeks of being offline. But yeah, we can start again end of April, early May. Yeah. Now
Yeah,
that,
that'd be great. Yeah, I think Thor wants us to come down to Florida, so maybe
Florida is a big one.
first one could be there, or we
Yeah.
could go back down to California. We've had some great meetups with members down in California, so
New York as well.
or
yeah.
or Vegas. We go to Mike's in Vegas a lot anyway, so
Yeah,
he can show us a good time.
Yeah, I'm all for Vegas.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
should have one Florida, maybe New York City, and definitely California. We have San Francisco and LA. We have a lot, yeah.
All right, amazing. Thanks for coming, guys.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Let's
yeah.
go get some drinks.
See you in the chat
All right.
room.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Bye.